Well, it's finally here. After 2 years of waiting, we now have a new trailer for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. What's more, it's an interesting one indeed. With everything from new locations to mechanics, enemies to abilities, it seems that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be everything the original game should have been and more. So let's look at it, shall we? Let's analyse this trailer to see just what it has in store. From the very beginning, where it seemingly picks up right where the last teaser left off. Link is possessed by a malevolent looking force. Ganondorf takes full control of his powers before Zelda plummets off screen. Isn't this bit already a bit familiar to anyone else? Like, say, very reminiscent of that scene from Skyward Sword? Yeah, we think so too. In fact, the very next scene is Skyward Sword like in general. You've got Zelda falling through the clouds like Link does in said game, as well as a whole kingdom in the clouds you can fly between with a glider. It's like Breath of the Wild meets Skyward Sword, albeit with a tribe like the Zonai responsible for most of the items and architecture. And that seems like the first big difference with Breath of the Wild 2. That being, Zelda herself seems to be playable in it. Yeah, we know. Assuming a character isn't Link isn't always the best move. People assume that about the Breath of the Wild 1 teaser trailer Link 2. But here it seems almost confirmed. Why? Because Link and Zelda look completely different in this trailer. Their hairstyles, their clothing, their physical appearance in general, every little aspect implies you've got two separate characters to switch between in a Man Luigi meets Oracle of Ages style setup. Either way, after a quick glimpse at part of the floating island, we then see this thing. It's likely a new boss in the game, and one that Zelda will encounter herself, yet there's more to it than meets the eye. First, note the green energy holding it together. It's hard to see, but it's the same stuff from the first Breath of the Wild 2 teaser, the stuff that's pinning down Ganondorf. So in that sense, it seems like the same people sealed Ganon also made this machine too. But that's not all. No, its design also contains a few other familiar motifs too. You've got the Sheikah eye symbol, as well as this one on its chest, which almost perfectly matches the generator from the Lanayru mining facility in Skyward Sword. This heavily implies its creators had something to do with said area too, and may have been responsible for building things like the ancient robots, machine-like enemies, and time shift stones. That's a pretty interesting start right there. Back on the ground with Link now, we see an all new paraglider design, bokoblins with horns on their heads, and most interestingly of all, a mobile outpost on top of stone talus. Yep, it seems like the Bokos can now command taluses too. Yet the foreground elements are only the obvious parts here. Indeed, the scenery behind Link in the talus tank shows some interesting story hints too. Shrines still exist in Hyrule, and seem to be in the same places as their Breath of the Wild counterparts. The trailer then cuts back to the start, with the green magic arm in action. As you can see, it seems like Zelda is one that gets these powers, while Link himself gets a glove that works like the Sheikah slate. Know how the power looks like stasis, but seemingly turns back time for affected objects rather than freezing it, or how Link merely holds out his gauntlet to use it. And this is backed up further by the next scene, showing Link fighting a dungeon boss or mini-boss with a flamethrower gauntlet. It's an interesting scene, and one which demonstrates multiple interesting changes to the game too. Dungeons actually exist and have bosses in them, the bosses are not related to Ganon and seem more organic, and that the tech is definitely Zonai related. Yet that doesn't mean everything Breath of the Wild 1 is gone. While the aesthetics of the ground-based dungeons seem to be more organic now, it seems like the sky has a much more basic architectural style, like how the shrines and divine beasts look in the original game, and you can see that in the next scene, where Zelda uses a magical ability to phase through the floor in the manner of a champion ability. It's like Rivali's Gale mixed with a Shadow Siren from Thousand Year Door, and opens up an awful lot of interesting navigational puzzles further down the line. We also get a hint to the location of at least one Sky Island. That's because the trees below look like those at Tabantha Bridge Stable. Still, on to Hyrule Castle now, which gets lifted up from the ground during the trailer. It's a scene that turned up in the original teaser too, but which we can get a closer look at here. we said closer look, providing a few more interesting tidbits of information. Finds of overgrown statues, the castle walls are still ruined, and it's clear no one has lived here for many years. Yet the calamity is also faded too. The guardians aren't present in the castle anymore, there is no malice on the walls or structure, and everything looks just that bit cleaner than it did before. And Hyrule's own state isn't much better. Indeed, from the next shot in the video, it seems like the landscape is roughly identical to how it was before. The castle town is still in ruins, central Hyrule is still dead, and signs of civilization are still few and far between. So yeah, that's Breath of the Wild 2, and everything we know about it from the trailer. It's an amazing looking game, one that mixes many of the best elements from Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword into one awesome package. What do you think? Are you excited for the game? Leave your thoughts in the comments below or on the Discord server today.